guys, it's Anna. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am sharing my husband's story and journey with COVID-19 and how that whole thing went down. So if you're new to the channel, hi, I'm Anna, and I actually had the virus myself, and if you're interested in watching those videos, I will link them for you down below in the description and on top over here. If you're returning, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I shared my story and my mom's story with COVID-19 and how all of that affected us, but I didn't share my husband's story and how he dealt with COVID-19. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started. So how it all started was in the very, I guess, early March, maybe around March 15th, over here in New York City Public Schools, I think they announced as of March 16th that the schools were going to be closed, but we already kept our children home for a whole week and half a week the week before that. And my husband was just like finishing up, I guess, a couple more days of work, and I wasn't working already. So we were pretty much home, waiting for this whole situation to explode as it did. I think it was maybe like March 15th or so, my husband was complaining that he was having like a sinus infection headache and he wasn't feeling that good, but he didn't really have any other symptoms except he kept saying that he just has like a really bad headache and he's for sure thinks that it's a sinus infection. And then he kind of like slept in for a couple of days and just felt a little bit tired and just kind of like a little bit off his game, but that's about it. He has really bad allergies. He actually gets allergy shots. He also has had episodes of asthma back some time ago, so he typically doesn't play around with it. So he ended up going to urgent care on March 17th. He got checked and they reassured him that he doesn't have the flu, the strep, COVID-19, and that it was really a sinus infection. And they gave him I think it was penicillin or amoxicillin, but I think that's like in the same family anyways, 850 milligrams twice a day for I think 10 days. It was kind of funny to me, like, I mean, not really funny, but you know what I'm saying. When my husband has sinus infection episodes, he can't sleep, he can't breathe, he's coughing 24 hours a day, and he's just not well. Just like me. Again, if you want to see my journey with COVID-19, you can check out the videos in the description below. I'll actually pin it somewhere down. And neither did I. I didn't have a typical sinus infection symptom. So I caught onto that, and I remember kind of like making fun of him, saying like, well, do you think you have corona, you know? And he was like, well, I don't know what I have, and the doctors told me I don't have it. But mind you, they also said that they were not going to test him for COVID-19, for the flu, and for strep. The same thing that they told me when I went and complained about exactly same symptoms. So he came home, he took the antibiotics for 4 days, and he didn't finish the course of the treatment because he said he felt better. And again, I was kind of like looking at this like, wait, what's going on here? Like, typically you're in such need of relief that you will finish your entire course of antibiotics, but this time he was just like, I feel great, like I feel so much better, and that was it. So he didn't have any other symptoms, like zero, none. He had the sinus infection headache. He thought he had the sinus infection. He went to bed early. He slept in a couple of days. And overall, I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 days. And that's it. Where myself and my mother were dying, literally, how bad we had it. It was awful. So it's just mind-blowing to me to know that there are people like my husband who walk around not knowing what they have, thinking they have the flu or a sinus infection or allergies. Meanwhile, they're actually carrying the virus and they have no idea, and they're just spreading it all over the place. It's just crazy. So to finish the story, of course at that point we still didn't know what he had, and then I got sick and my mom got sick, and that took weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. It took a really long time for us to get better. And once I was better, once I was home, and many more weeks later, I asked him to go and get tested for the virus, well, to see if he had antibodies. And I told him that you and the children, you all need to get tested. So he went first, and he was sure that I was exaggerating, that it just wasn't possible. How can I be this sick but he's not that sick, or he wasn't sick at all? And he was still sure that, looking back at the timeline, that was a legit sinus infection and it was not coronavirus whatsoever. So he gets tested, and 2 days later they upload his blood work, and sure enough, he has very strong antibodies, very strong. So of course he's like in shock and he can't believe it, and I'm in shock myself. I mean, I kind of figured it all out on my own anyways. I put all the pieces together, but I was shocked to find out that he just walked with the virus while I was dying, literally, with the virus. So I think, you know, me sharing his story and his journey, that people need to be even more careful. And I know that when originally they came out with the symptoms of COVID-19, it was fever, it was cough, and it was difficulty breathing. Neither one of us, none of us had the cough. He didn't have difficulty breathing, but I did. My mom didn't, but I also didn't have my difficulty breathing from the beginning. It was towards the middle and end of my journey with COVID-19. So I just think that if you think you might be exposed, if things just don't add up, you know yourself, you know your body. And I just knew that he didn't have a sinus infection. I knew it because he was not presenting the symptoms that he typically does. And then a week later, when I started to get the same sinus infection headache, and I was trying to, you know, make myself really think like, yeah, it's probably the sinus infection headache, but I didn't present any sinus infection symptoms aside from this crazy headache. So that's the story, and I just really think, you know, everybody just needs to be extra careful. You really don't know who is carrying the virus and who is not, and it's just incredible that some people literally can live their normal life without ever knowing, while others have lost their lives to this, and you know, some have been tremendously affected by the virus. It's just crazy. But that's the story. I hope it was helpful for you guys. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the description below. And like I said in the beginning of my video, if you want to see my whole journey and follow up with COVID-19, you can take a look. I'll link them down below. And I just hope that everyone is staying safe and taking care of each other. And please wash your hands, wear your mask, and quarantine if you have to. And definitely, if you're not well, go and see your doctor. I know when it all happened here in New York City, it was just the beginning, so tests weren't available as they are now. They were really picking and choosing who they were going to test. Like in my journey, they didn't even test my mom. They said that she was too old and it didn't matter that she's a healthcare worker. They were not going to test her. It was just awful. But anyways, you can watch that down below. But that's it. So I hope it was helpful, and be well, be safe, and hopefully this will all be over sometime soon. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.